Hi, welcome to a TFT video from Mission for Tuition. I'm going to get this part out of the way really fast. It's called Mission for Tuition because we're trying to raise money for our son's middle and high school tuition. He has to go to a special school, which is frightfully expensive, and we make all of our money through views. We don't ask for donations or anything like that. If you could please put a like on the video. It helps the YouTube algorithm, gets it out to more people, gets more views, makes money for tuition. As you've probably noticed by now, this is not a HyperRoll game, as my little legend is not running around really fast. This is a regular ranked game, and it has a story behind it. After last week's video, I received a message from someone I know who admittedly plays this game much better than I do. They're at challenger level, they have competed in tournaments, they really know what they're doing, and they were a little upset with the build that I was showing. Specifically, my Team Fortress build, which is all frontline. All tanks, no backline, no damage items. They felt it was irresponsible of me to show that as a potential build. They felt people would try to do it in rank and that it would hurt them. And I told them that I felt it actually was a legitimate build. I had given it to several people. It had worked for them, but they told me, no way, it is just not something that was viable. And I noticed shortly after that conversation that suddenly a single dislike had appeared on that video. I know it's them. I know it's you. I'm not going to name you because that's not nice. And I absolutely still 100% respect you. And I know 1v1 you could trounce me, but this ranked video is my answer. And please don't hate me for this because I really believe in this build. So what I did is I leveled up quickly so I could get my 2 Brawlers and 2 Knights out there, and then just started picking up Brawlers and Knights as fast as I could. Unlike HyperRoll, in ranked you can end up with level disparity, so when I had leveled up, it gave me an immediate advantage in the upcoming fights against people who hadn't yet leveled. Sadly, the win streak didn't last as long as I wanted to, as when I got into 2-3, I could have leveled up again, but I wanted to econ and save a little money, and I ended up 4-on-4 against a team that was better positioned at that time. Carousel was pure item shopping for me, which was actually easy with this build because most people are after the damage items, so I was able to grab the Giant Spelch, which could go with the chain vest I had, and get it onto Nunu, who I had decided I want to be my main carry. So again, because I pre-leveled, I was ahead of everyone else in terms of number of champions I could have out, which gave me a distinct advantage through the next couple of fights. Being extra tanky, of course, also helped because having more tanks on the screen allowed me to survive longer and keep up a win streak going at this point. Now, I've got to be honest and say the NPC rounds are accommodating me with great items, and I'm getting 2-star champions pretty easily. The moment I get to 3-2, I'm leveling up and then rolling down so that I can shore up the team. I'm on a win streak. I want to keep it that way, and I want to stay ahead of everyone else with the strongest champions I could possibly have at any given time. Staying a level ahead is giving me that extra champion out there, which is allowing me to survive against teams that probably should be taking other teams out, but 2 Sunfire Capes is really hard to overcome. Picking up Knights is proving increasingly easy on the carousel, even though I am at the top of the leaderboard and thus getting last pick. And Radiant items, well, that one was pretty simple. It handed me a Warmog's Pride, which will give me additional health and health regeneration, and since I am looking at Nunu, that is of course where it's going to go. I'm continuing to econ as much as possible, but I'm still staying a level ahead of everyone else, and given the power that I now have in Nunu, these fights are pretty easy to win and keep my win streak going. My goal in this game is to get to level 9, so I'm going to try to stay above 50 as much as possible and use any extra gold to level up. With 4 Knights and 2 Brawlers, my team is really hard to take down, so even if I do lose, it will likely be by only a small amount. However, these champs are really strong, and even against Yasuo with the exact items, Nunu can gobble. Getting lots of extra gold from the win streak has allowed me to level up and still remain above 50 gold. So I am now 1 level above everyone else with extra champion on the screen and still incredibly tanky champions that can withstand most of these other comps. One of the reasons I particularly like this build even in ranked, yes, you heard me, even in ranked, is that when you do lose, and you're likely going to, not every game is going to be perfect, but when you do lose, you're going to last a long time and not lose that much health. In this case, I went from 92 to 85. And in the interest of time, I'm skipping you ahead to sort of a more important moment in the video, because this is where I got the chance to get the Brawler emblem, which could fundamentally change the entire team, since that would allow me to get up to 6 Brawlers. Now, I am about to make a semi-critical mistake in all of this, as for some reason in my brain at that moment, I felt Galio would be the absolute best recipient of the Brawler emblem. The answer was Garen. Garen was the best choice. Luckily, that giant blunder didn't have an instant impact. The reason Garen's the best choice is his ult scales off of his health. Brawler is going to give additional health, so you want him to have as high health as possible. But the team is strong enough to be able to get through some of these fights anyway, and I still remain at the top of the leaderboard. And since I'm at the top and my goal is to get to 9 champions so that I can have the 6th Brawler and the 4 Knights, I am not rolling below 50. I am just using as much as I can to get myself to the next level. And again, let me stress that one of the things I like about this comp is when you do lose, you don't lose that much health. And I want to show this next fight not so much just to make the same point again that you don't lose that many points when you lose, but I want you to see the Olaf here. Their team is all Sentinels. They have a Sentinel buff, so when they get to 9, they're going to have 9 Sentinels. But look at that Olaf with the 3 Titans resolves. It is just chopping away, and even my super tank team is able to get through. But again, I'm only losing a little bit of health. So with 60 gold in the bank and 30 gold to get to level 9, it's time to just push it to the end. And yes, it cost me an extra 2, but I felt the time was right. And it was also time to correct a mistake I had already made. I now have the 6 Brawlers, but I need the right champion to be the final Brawler. So I need to pick up an additional Galio, sell my Galio, put that out, and transfer those items over to Garen, where they will be much, much more effective. That extra massive health boost is going to give Garen a bigger shield every time he ults, and the Morellonomicon is going to put a burn on anyone nearby. It makes him much, much stronger, and you can see the impact immediately as he's able to finish this fight and wipe out some competition. The fact that I didn't have to roll as much throughout the match and was able to save gold gave me the ability to roll down now and get the 2-star Garen when I really needed it. At this point, I have everything set pretty much the way I want it. The one change I would make if I could is I would have the Warmog's Pride on Garen instead of the Dragon's Claw, but with that Brawler emblem, he's getting the extra health he needs, and even this Lucian with the Giant Slayer isn't able to do anything, and we take this person out, leaving us into the final 2. Once you're down to 2, it is important to scope the competition. This is a Revenant-focused team, which I should be able to counter pretty easily, but I still want to make sure I'm positioned well so that I don't get taken down. They also have a 2-star Garen, and in their case, with a Warmogs, but that Brawler buff is giving me the extra health I need to make up for the fact that their Garen is also very, very strong. And now you'll see why it was so important for me to put that Brawler buff onto Garen and take it off of Galio, even though it cost me a Galio at that part of the match. Garen, who also has the Dawnbringer buff because I have a Gragas on the team, is going to be able to heal when he gets low. That is absolutely key because it works along with his ult to give him his shield back so that he isn't losing a lot of health. Finally, that Dragon's Claw is going to pay off the dividends right here, because every time Karma hits him with her ult, it costs her strength, and that allows Garen to win this fight. We shift some things around just to go into this fight, but in many ways it doesn't really matter. This team is just a giant wall that is meant to just stop the other team from attacking. And the other team, though, they kind of did everything they could against this. They had a really well-stacked Karma. They have a Teemo with a Giant Slayer, so he's going to do additional damage to high health characters, which is what they're facing. But this team was just too tanky to fail. Now, this isn't a gold 1 match, so it's not a super high MMR, but it's high enough that I think I've proven my point. This is viable. Hope you enjoyed the video and have an absolutely awesome day.